Hello guys, this is a new type of video, and I think you will like it. As you know, we get our daily news of EVE Echoes through many different sources, and one area that is flooded with information and thoughts are the Facebook and the Reddit. I got permission to read some of the largest posts out there, and I have two reasons in mind for this. First one, some posts are very long and people don't have the time to read it. The second, some posts gets very big and intricate, and complications arise, as well as a mix-up of both opinions and fact get smashed together. So after I got the permission to make this video by the author, I will read them and I will give my point of view on them as well. And you guys can also comment on them down below. See this series as a great way to get the information read for you, as well as discussed, all in one place. The first video will be from Bradric, who you might know already. But I will work on many of his posts, so expect his post to be read several times. And if you get posts or stuff that you would like me to share and react to, then let me know, and of course give me the okay to do a video on it. Let's start with the inevitable skill reset. Bradric Young, he posted, the inevitable skill reset, and you, what will it cost you? He also clarifies that this is just his opinions, it's not him telling people how to play. These are mainly suggestions for new players and players looking for some ideas who don't mind reading a bit to get to them. But now you got me, so I will read it for you. He also say that please refrain from commenting without reading, thank you, and do fly aggressive. Well, I can add to that, and don't comment unless you have heard the whole story. Let's start. We know it's coming, it's inevitable, and we don't often talk about it. Good day, pilots. Today I'm going to have a brief, discussion about the skill reset you will likely conduct in the coming April and May patches and updates, and how to make sense of it in the likely event that you get f***ed either way. Don't quit. With the balance patch incoming, I've come to the realization that changes, regardless of significance, will likely require some skill resetting for nearly every one of us. Ship class, weapon types, weapon size, adjusted bonuses and stats. And then he laughs at industry. And even the incoming content changes. This may change the way you look at it and play the game for sure, right? And I totally agree. We don't know what will happen, but we will have to adapt for it, and there's no reason to quit. I do agree. I don't want people to quit the game because they may lose some DPS, or something they do in-game may change. And you also say that if I could endure frigates and destroyers this long, you can take it too, damn it. No quitting. He continues with, currently, to do the skill reset that I wanna do, it will cost me over 10 billion ISK. At current Plex prices, or $150 US. Roughly. I know, steep, right? That's a lot of ratting that I'm simply not gonna be awake for. While some players can't throw away on a good rattlesnake build, others play the game differently and cannot afford to drop that kind of ISK because NetEase ignored the ship balance for 75% of the game's existence. That is a big problem that NetEase has today. That not many ships are actually good enough to do some content. We got of course some meta builds, which is very normal in games, you know, you always have a meta. But in EVE Echoes we should actually have more variety, more ways to build ships and more fun and unique playstyles. But we'll see what happens. Now before some apologists jump on here, caping for NetEase pockets, this was their mistake, not the players. Many of us, including myself, were forced to skill into ships and playstyles we would never touched. That is unfortunately very true. I mean, I would go Omar full time. It just doesn't work. The ship balance and the game performance and overall playstyle balancing has been a real problem for a long time. I just don't think that this is one of those but they gotta make money too situation. They goofed. And now risk losing players to quitting and raging about balance changes. That could have been avoided had they done the balance patch in October 21. And yeah, I think this is very late. This has gone very far. And to be able to repair this damage, they really have to make an awesome patch and update. He also says, I digress. No use crying over spilled milk. I'm here to help the players, as always. So aside from hoping NetEase does something smart by giving full skill reset to its player base as an apology for not listening, what can you start doing now to put yourself in a better position in New Eden? That's a good question. One that is fun and beneficial to how you want to play, makes you an asset and a joy to be around for the corp, and keeps you from stressing over changes. Be a smart player. Yeah, be a player who can adapt to changes. He also continues, well, we first must analyze the player and his or her playstyle in the game. Each and every one of us must decide what we want to do. Where does the things you like in the game reside currently? Go over each and every possible playstyle would require individual posts. I may do this in the future after the changes to assist lost and raging players. Thank you, Bradric. We would love that. So what we'll do today is approach this from a general all-around perspective. I'll use a few small examples as well. While specialization is nice, it can lead to some real satisfaction in-game, with things being as they are. Some variety in playstyle is required. If you go the one-trick pony route, it's going to be a painful experience. You must have multiple playstyles and ways to play the game, both for PvP and PvE. He also say, I've said it before and I can't stress it enough. If you're an industry main player, by now you have enough evidence available to know you better have another way to enjoy the game in your bags of tricks. If industry has been anything to us, it has been an example of how one's playstyle can take a mean left. Many players outright quit the game. Players' insurance destroyed their playstyle. I strongly believe at that time that they at least had another role and way they like to play available to them. They might not have quit the game, but who knows for sure. So with that said, I implore us all not to get cornered in one way of thinking. Have you a mission runner playstyle? A fleet PvE playstyle? A leg in some type of industry for ISK? Do you have a pos built? And some investment in PvP with a corp alliance? Even if it's just one ship class, you will need to have 2 to 4 different ways to play at least, in the current meta and balance situation. 2 is 1 and 1 is none if you get mega nerfed like industry players did when the insurance dropped. Don't set you up for failures. And yeah, he's talking about a big point here. If the only thing you do in the game surrounds only one aspect, then any patch could change the way you play the game, the way you like the game. So even if you can't be everything in the game, you can at least have a few options. So try not to focus your skilling too much, I would say. Try to spread it out. Try to find different goals in the game that you would like to do. And if something gets messed up, you can just go and do the other stuff before they fix it. If they fix it. We really don't know. So I think it's a very healthy thing he's saying here. Ship and playstyle combos. When it comes to ships, a good mix that I've seen a lot of players go with is frigate, interceptors for PvP, and battleships for PvE. This is something even new players can pull off fairly well, because while the battleships cost an arm and both legs, the frigates are dirt cheap. Interceptor PvP is very forgiving as far as dealing with interdiction, while not so much if you get webbed and alpha'd in a fight. You can easily cover the loss cost of your small ship roams and scouting with the ISK from your content crushing with your battleship. You can also get into faction war games if you fancy it, and even some explorations as well. Yeah, and that is exactly how I do it. I do PvE to make money so that I can do PvP. Another solid combination is cruiser and battlecruisers. Any two class of ships that uses the same weapons saves you some skill points. Cruisers and battlecruisers are great ships for PvE and PvP. They can clear content well above their weight with good builds, and are great for missions running in low sec. As well as medium weapons can hit well against small to medium targets if attacked by pirates. Likewise, they're great if you are the pirate, as these are some of the best classes for PvP builds. You can also use these ships in the major support roles for fleet PvP. Guardians, logistics, heavy interdictions, and command bursts are all in these two classes. Some of the best snipers are cruisers and battlecruisers. Both classes are far cheaper than battleships, giving a newer player some cushion when it comes to losses, especially if they're flying doctrine in a fleet PvP. And yeah, he brings up a good point here too. I think battlecruisers and battleships are very, very nice. I personally have frigates, cruisers, battlecruisers and battleships, but I am over 90 million skill points and not many people have that. So either go frigate and battleship or battlecruisers and battleship, which is, I do agree, you could actually go cruisers and battlecruisers, because if you have some extra ISK, you could actually go for a faction cruiser to do your missions, and you could PvP in the battlecruisers. The goal in whatever you are doing is to get the most amount of playstyle options for your skill points investment, because playing the game is the goal, actually having fun, challenging yourself, and getting the most benefits of our limited free time. That is the goal. And yes, that is the goal, actually playing the game and having a good time. Then of course, if you have some in-game goals, that just spices everything up. Now, industry friends, I need all of you to understand that industry isn't a main in EVE Echoes. Never mind the why, that's a different discussion. Focus. Just tell yourself, I will not be caught lacking this time. He also gives his opinion. Approach industry from a side of hustle point of view. You don't need to have every ship class and faction ship class maxed out for building. Don't do it to yourself. Put that on an alt, please. And this is an alternative character, so you can have several characters and you could actually skill on an alt. And then he continues with, your main should be the PvE or PvP with an industry side hustle. He also say, don't argue. Thank me later when you haven't rage quit the game. You can skill and you can invest into PI mining and POS. Hell, you can build too. You can have an exploration build that you explore with and some mining barges. This will give you access to all the materials required to build any blueprint, rig or ship. Even the integrated rigs are at your fingertips. You can explore, mine compressed needle spaces if you find, and there is a lot of those, and reprocess both ores and scrap to build literally everything you want to specialize in. Now I say specialize because in the case of new players, you're gonna need to spread your skill points until you get the points necessary to do it all. Focus skilling into resources, gathering and sales, so that you have both the ship and the skill necessary, and the navigation experience to traverse New Eden. A good combo for industry players is frigates, industrial ships, and eventually battleships for raiding. Frigates for exploring and having a PvP ship to help your corp and alliances. Industrial ships for hauling goods and providing services, mining and hauling resources. And battlecruisers, battleships, your choice, later on to be able to do mission running, raiding or PvP while things are cooking on your timers. Once you have the skill points available, of course. Yeah, I think he brings up a good point here too. I mean, you will need to spread your skill points so you can do stuff, but I would say try focus on something. If you want to build frigates, then focus on frigate building and don't spread out too much and just take it as it comes. You know, start with frigates, maybe go to cruisers, or maybe go destroyers. I mean, it's all up to you. Do whatever and just focus your skills into making ISK and focus your skills into having fun. And finally, we're getting to the question in the start. If NetEase doesn't help, how do I get the respect that I need? First off, I made a video that as soon as you're T10, you shouldn't actually skill into anything. You should just save the skill points. That way, when new stuff happens, you can just allocate your skill points. I will actually put that video at the end of this, so if you haven't seen it, then watch it and help me out, please. Never mind. As stated above, at the current Plex prices, he would need about 10 billion ISK or $150 for not a full skill reset. That's just giving me up on larger ships and going full frigates, destroyers and cruisers with the industry side hustle. That's just one of the outcomes I'm currently considering, but no final decisions yet. Once I see the April and May patches and updates, then I will look into some changes. This does two things. One, give me the time to drum up the necessary ISK needed, and that will give him a reason to play the game. saving, selling, building, exploring, catching all the raiding fleets that he can, and mission running, or whatever he wanna do or whatever you wanna do to make the ISK. Or number 2, it gives him time to wait and see how the balance plays out and decide if I want to reset my skills or continue with the plan that he's currently having. For some like myself, I'm not long from 90 to 100 million skill points in the game, so I have the room to write things out and have a skill spread that spans many playstyles. Yeah, and that is the perks that we have, we who played the game for so long. We actually can allocate our skills a lot better than newer players. So save ISK, ask a corp for assistance with higher tier content, get active as soon as you can with events, fleet PvE, Nihilus base, and everything that you can do. Get involved, make the cells, build good builds, and play the game. And some corp members may even donate or help you reach your goals, give your builds, or help you build the ships that you need. All donations will be gratefully accepted in-game, says Bradric with a smile. So in conclusion, this game is about what you like. If you make it about that and play smart, you will never be disappointed. Will you lose ships? Yes. Will you lose battles? Yes. Will you have hardships? Hardships. Will you have hard time? Yes. It doesn't mean you don't having fun though. Most people who are seriously hurt to quitting when they occur losses are usually unhappy with what they are going on in general, and it's just easier to blame it on the enemy. So he's just here to help you appreciate your enemies providing you content by help you invest your ISK and skill points properly and not overextending yourself. This is the key. Having a 1.5 billion ISK spaceship with no funds saved and no other playstyle, this is how you rage quit when you get ganked in low sec. Either you pay in cash, ISK and playtime, or in tears. Fly aggressive. So that was the whole post, and I fully agree with everything on this one. And I'm not biased towards Bradric, I'm biased towards the game. The game is what you like. That is, the game is what you want to do. It's all about how you set up your future. I'm always talking about it, about having a goal in the game. And unless you have a goal, then you have no reason. And if you don't have a reason to play a game, you will quit. So make a goal and have a good time. Ask people for help or help people who ask for help. Be one of the names in the game that people remember. You don't have to be the best, and you don't have to be the richest. You don't have to be the most wanted. You just have to be there. If you're there, then people will know you. And I will now read some of the answers. I feel insulted from this. Changes can't fuck me unless they fuck all small, medium ships, modules and skills. This post is way too long, expect low reader response. And that is actually why I decided to do this, because I see this all the time. And here's another one. Bradric, I love you bro, but for fuck's sake, too long to read law. With 97 million skill points on my indie character and 102 million on my main, I can fly pretty much what I like to, and I won't do any reset. I didn't for carriers, I won't do it for the new doctrines, blah blah blah. If I want to fly a ship that ain't skilled fully in, I am patient. Well, I am too, my man. I am also very patient. He continues with, I will wait. 3 small and medium weapon types give me a lot of fun. Play how you want to, mateys. Very nice. I agree. I very much agree. Very nice. And the last one. Suggested to me. Don't roll skills as you go. Build free skill points and then buy the skills that you want or need when you have enough. Don't get the bonuses until it's done. If play decisions, doctrines, meta, or just particular goals change, then you have more time to decide before committing the skill points. Also very wise. And thank you guys for listening to this one. And if you want more, just tell me that in the comments. And I will see you guys again.